We start today with what increasingly seems like the inevitability of Donald Trump winning the Republican primary. We're going to go through some of the stories that have been told about the path that Vivek Ramaswamy has to the nomination, or the path that Ron DeSantis has to the nomination. And I think in looking at the numbers, you will come to the conclusion I have come to, which is that none of those storylines really seem to connect to reality in any kind of serious way. First and foremost, the DeSantis campaign is rapidly collapsing. In fact, he recently did an event in Iowa, and the pictures show an almost empty room. It's truly pathetic. There's a Newsweek article that we are going to link to, and as you scroll down the article, you get to these images, and it's really bizarre stuff. I mean, you just look at what's going on, and it looks like some kind of a school wrestling gym or something, or no, it's a livestock auction building. It looked like a school wrestling building. In any case, there is almost no one there. DeSantis is talking to like 15 people. And I know some will write to me and say, David, early in the campaign, sometimes you only talk to 15 people or whatever the case may be. These events are pathetic and they're humiliating. He's lost more than 40% of his primary support. And so the DeSantis campaign really doesn't seem like it's the one that is soon to dominate. And if you look at the latest numbers, DeSantis is now down to 15%. 15%. He was at 30. He has now lost half of his support. So the DeSantis story doesn't seem to be going very far. We then have the Vivek Ramaswamy surge story. That story was one in which Ramaswamy announced and came out at 1.3%, and then suddenly, more recently, he was at 6%. He is at 6%, and it is absolutely the case that Ramaswamy has roughly quadrupled his support, and that is significant. He is now in third place with Mike Pence about a point behind. However, there is the question of what is Vivek's path to something that would approach a winning trajectory. And it's hard to find that as well. If we look at some of the early voting states, we look at South Carolina, for example, you see that Vivek Ramaswamy is polling 2 in South Carolina. That's an early primary. I don't know how 2 in South Carolina sets you up for anything significant. We look at New Hampshire, another early primary. And most recently, Ramaswamy is in 5th place. There was the idea that New Hampshire is where Vivek or maybe even Chris Christie will make a stand. Chris Christie is tied for 3rd with 8, and then Vivek Ramaswamy in 5th place with 6. Also not really a show of strength there. And then lastly, we have the early primary state of Nevada. We have a new national research poll from just about a week and a half ago, and that has Trump 52, DeSantimonious 22, Christie 3, Haley 3, and Ramaswamy at 2 in 5th place. So we don't see any suggestion right now that anybody but Trump has a shot at this thing. And so the question we then arrive at is, what could happen that would really shake this up? Well, Trump could get indicted again and get pulled off the campaign trail. I mean, I've said this so many times. Even that, I don't know, would actually hurt Trump that much in the primary. Many Trump supporters seem almost defiantly emboldened by every one of Trump's alleged crimes, and they see it all as Trump's the victim and he must be defended and protected and all these sorts of things. So I don't know that that is really going to hurt Trump. What about someone else's performance? Could DeSantis be so charismatic and erudite at the first debate that Trump supporters just flock to DeSantis? If DeSantis is counting on charisma, then that's not really going to work. Could Vivek Ramaswamy perform so well at the debate that he gains a ton of support? Listen, Ramaswamy has more headroom in the sense that he's only at 6. So Ramaswamy could perform well enough to double his support to 12, taking a point here, a point there. He would then build some momentum. How 12 gets him any states, I still don't know. So we want to be realistic about the fact that it's only August of 2023, that if you look back at prior primaries, often it happens that the winner in August of the year before is not eventually the nominee. But we have some particular circumstances, unique circumstances this time around. A recent former president is leading. The other candidates seem to have no plausible even argument that is resonating with voters for why you should support them. So we should be realistic. It's not looking good for anybody but Trump. We then should discuss, what about the general election? That's where I want to go next. 30 million trees are destroyed every year for toilet paper in the U.S. alone. So toilet paper is a big contributor to deforestation and climate change. Our sponsor, Real Paper, makes toilet paper from bamboo. Bamboo plants keep growing, which means no deforestation. Bamboo also absorbs 5 times as much carbon from the atmosphere as pine trees. And bamboo toilet paper is stronger than regular toilet paper and even softer. So bamboo toilet paper is all around a win for you and for the environment. It's time to move on from that toilet paper from trees that you're using at home. When you use Real Paper, it doesn't feel like you're sacrificing anything. It's soft and fluffy, and they'll ship it to your door in plastic-free packaging on a schedule. Super easy. With every box of Real Paper you buy, they are funding reforestation efforts across the country through their partnership with One Tree Planted. So unlike the toilet paper that cuts down trees, Real is helping to actively plant them. Go to realpaper.com/Pacman and use code Pacman for 30% off your first order and free shipping. The link is down below.